Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we will be reviewing that thriller...
A psychological horror film.
Okay, a psychological
Yeah, that one.
thriller called The Silence of the Lambs that was released in 1991.
Now, here we go. This one is... I think it falls in a genre all by itself. It's really damn good. Anyway, produced by Kenneth Utt, Edward Saxon, and Ron Bosman. Directed by Jonathan, I think it's Deem, D-E-M-M-E. I don't know if it's right pronunciation, but sorry to you, Jonathan. Screenplay by Ted Talley, and it was based on a book of the same name written by Thomas Harris. Now, interesting, this is the part that I love the most. The budget was $19 million. The box office was $272 million. Now, that's what everybody likes to see when they make a movie. They want to make some greenbacks. Yeah.
Well, apart from the fact that it has to entertain people.
Yeah, well, they've got to make money. The more money they make, the more movies they can make.
Good point.
You keep making bad movies and you don't make any money, they have to close a studio. So yes, that's a good one. Yeah.
So anyway, before this one, they made another using the same writer who did the original book, one of the original books, which is called The Red Dragon, but actually was changed to Manhunter. And this was years before Anthony Hopkins took the role of Hannibal
Lecter. Actually, speaking of Mr. Hopkins, Anthony, when he was offered the script, he said, "Is this a children's movie?" Silence of the Lambs. And after the first, he read the first 8 or 10 pages, and he said to the guys who gave to him, "It's one of the best roles I've ever read," and he loved it. So yeah,
I would not think if I heard the name of the Silence of the Lambs for the first time in my life that I would ever think of it as at once it was a children's movie.
Lambs, a Silence of the Lambs. It sounds so cute.
Well, the silence part signifies something. There's something mysterious
here. Fluffy and nice. And have you ever picked up a newborn lamb? And they're so cute and cuddly. And
yeah, but the silent part indicates
something's wrong.
Death. Destruction, maybe.
Well, they're going to the abattoirs? Yeah.
Yes. To a place not so well established. Anyway, I often think The Silence of the Lambs is probably the best of the beginning of this franchise.
I mean,
even though originally it was Red Dragon that probably came before.
They're all standalone movies to a certain degree. The first one was anyway. That was a bit like a prequel, wasn't it? No, I can't remember. I haven't seen that one.
Well, The Red Dragon was a bit of a prequel because this came much in 2002, and the other one, which is a sequel to this one, which is called Hannibal, was released in 2000. What was it? I'm just reading this. It was done in 2001.
Yeah, and you think they could have renamed it "Guess Who's Coming to Dinner," but that's already been done. So, no.
But I'm kind of glad they kept to the original names in this instead of Manhunt or Manhunt 2.
Well, like you said, they had a sequel, Hannibal, and 2001, and they had the prequel Manhunter. Red Dragon, and Hannibal Rising was done in 2007. So yeah, they made there's a good character in Hannibal Lecter. He's a nice guy in some ways. No, he helped the girl. Helped the person find the killer. He's a sort of a good guy, and he didn't.
That's because he doesn't like any of the other people he worked with, or not work with, just associate with.
I think he only kills and eats people he doesn't like, or people who deserve to die.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff. I don't think he goes there. He just goes, I feel a bit peckish instead of going to McDonald's or go to Fred's place and eat Fred. I don't think it works that way. I think he kills people and eats the people he doesn't like.
Who directs, writes, and stars in it?
Oh, well, I've done the producing and directing bit.
Okay, stars in it.
Well, I won't go through everybody, but I'll go
just
the
two main stars.
The two main stars, because I want to talk about some of this, the casting later on anyway. Jodie Foster plays Clarice Starling. She's an FBI. What do you call it? Well, yeah. Well, she's studying. She's at the FBI.
She's studying criminal
academy.
profiles.
Yeah, but she's at the academy training to be an agent. And she was, I think, at the end of it, training or something, and they gave her this to test her out. So she's like a young agent learning the ropes, and she's thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, like an intern.
Yeah, like an intern, yeah. And she has to interview, what do you call a psychopathic killer?
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins, who's playing the role of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, who eats people. Yeah,
and is an ex-psychiatrist who knows a bit about psychiatry.
And he knows a bit about profiling people like him. And he actually helps her
piece together this stuff.
The jigsaw puzzle of chasing this new killer. And actually, I'll mention the new killer guy, or the one in this movie. Ted Levine plays a guy referred to as Buffalo Bill, and he
has it already.
We won't discuss. We'll talk about what he does during Sarah's.
I'd rather talk to you guys about it when we get into the story side.
But he plays a really weird part. I think he does it really exceptionally well.
And he has a good motive behind it too.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll go there. We'll get into it later. We're just saying he plays a good role, I think. But there was another person I will mention. Scott Glenn plays Clarice's boss, Jack Crawford. And that role was up for grabs by lots of people and other people. It went for the casting side of it. He was the last man standing in the end because, they had all these other people lined up for it. And yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, he got it. So, interesting. I won't go for all the other people, though, but there's this 70 and there's lots of people and stuff. But they're the main ones anyway.
Anyway, do you want me to go dive in?
I can't think of anything I want to talk about at the moment. I will talk. Actually, box office, I said before, but it was one of the highest grossing movies in a very, very short run time. Like the first couple of weeks. It pulled money in hand over fist. This is and it got lots of awards and nominations and stuff. Yeah, it did really, really good, and even the critics liked it. That's a change, critics. Yeah. Now I think that I'll leave it to you to take on the rest of it as you normally do. You or to you.
Yes. So the story begins with let me see, how should we start? Clarice is she's studying at the academy of being a policewoman and all that stuff. And her professor calls her to his office, telling her that he wants her to do meet a psychopathic killer to help her, learn learn about the psyche of a killer.
Yeah, a bit like a profiler.
Yeah.
What makes his brain tick?
Yes. Yes, and she was given the assignment to talk and discuss with Hannibal Lecter.
And the reason why, because Hannibal doesn't talk to anybody. He's they thought a nice young girl, he might just open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does too a bit.
And it is an interest. So she goes to the special institute he's staying at, which is
at the Baltimore State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. What a lovely night. Name just rolls off your tongue.
And when I think about this place, I think the guy in charge is criminally insane.
He's a dickhead. And we won't talk about him just yet. We'll talk about him later.
Although he looks at Clarissa like a piece of meat, or well, when he was giving her the eye, saying, I think she's gorgeous looking."
Yes, he was trying to hit on Agent Starling.
Nothing worse than a guy who's offering you the opportunity to do a profile with a killer, and perving on you all the time.
Yeah. Who's the creepo? The guy in the cell, the guy running the institution. Funny though, hey.
Oh, yes. Moving on. So she goes into the place and she's given the rundown about not to go near them, not to the cells.
Don't touch.
Keep to the other side of the wall as much as possible.
Yeah, the hallway,
Yeah.
They can't grab her, they can't pass anything over.
Yeah. One of the guys was really obscene and yelled out some obscenities at her.
He wasn't very nice.
Yeah, I won't tell you
they're
what.
criminally insane. They're not friendly little altar boy types, are they? No.
So she meets Hannibal, and looks her over and says, "Ooh." So they meet to look at a student, and a pretty one at that.
And they sent someone of your student to talk to me. Oh well, yeah. He was a bit insulted in the beginning, but he thought he might help her out of her career.
Yes, he was giving her the opportunity to test, get her to a chance to get what she wants in the end. And he then explains, tells her in a few of the sessions about the possible killer, Buffalo Bill. That's his name.
His nickname, yeah.
Yeah. See, Buffalo Bill is kidnapping women, and they're not ordinary women. Just so you know, they're plump women.
Plumpies. And the idea is, do you want to say what he's doing with them?
Yes. While Clarissa, she tries to think that he cuts them because of a simple pleasure, because that's what psycho killers would do for souvenirs. But this is different in this movie.
He's skinning them.
For a particular reason.
Which will be disclosed later.
Yes. So Hannibal in this, he kind of does cryptic messages to everyone he associates.
Even Starling.
Yeah. Even to his head psychiatrist guy tries to get one up by getting the information, but Hannibal is a bit stubborn when it comes to him. And doesn't like him too much because of his not so...
He's a dickhead.
Yes, and not to mention he does some unorthodox ways of treatment.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Hannibal Lecter is a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever. He probably knows more than the guy running the place.
Of course.
So why would he have any respect for him?
Good point. But anyway, the first time they meet, by the next day, we get wind that the guy next to Hannibal's cell has been committed suicide.
Yeah. Shame.
Yeah.
No, he's a nasty guy anyway. So.
And I do think he did it because of that guy's obscene talk to Starling, right?
Possibly.
Yeah, and he wanted to pay him back by having him murdered, or not murdered, just take his own life.
Yeah. I'm going to get you on to kill myself. That doesn't make too much sense, but he's criminally insane.
Yes, moving on.
So moving right along, folks.
So he sets Clarissa some tasks, and he asked her to go to this place and in a garage, which I think he said in a cryptic message that it was actually his, not.
Well, he
says it was a patient, but I don't think it is.
He said not patient, and he mentioned a name, but he actually she worked out it was cryptic message saying he had a storage facility. And it was actually his name. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
It's just a cryptic one, as I said.
And what does he find there?
A head in a jar.
In a jar. Lovely. Yeah.
Yes, anyway, moving on.
One of his patients, wasn't it?
Possibly.
Yes.
Yeah, anyway, he then meets her again, and she offers, in return for some information on Buffalo Bill, that he will be given a proper institute with a window and some nice, better care and all that stuff. Of course, what better chance for him to get passed up and all that?
Exactly.
But as it turns out, it's a lie, and the head psychiatrist guy of the institute, he then talked. One of the girls, who got kidnapped, is actually the senator of of America. I'm not sure.
What state? Whatever.
And he arranges it with her to allow Hannibal, if he cooperates, he's given a better, environment.
Better accommodation somewhere else. Yeah, yes. Somewhere else to live. And the windows. Where he is now, he's actually in a place where there's no windows. Nothing, no sunlight. It's not a very nice place to be.
Yeah, it's like a dungeon.
But I suppose that's the general idea of things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a dungeon, technically.
Being punished. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
it looked like a dungeon, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, dark walls.
It could be downstairs. It could be in the basement level. Yeah,
probably is.
So they can't break out.
And they can't afford better accommodations.
They can't do a Monte Cristo and dig through the wall or anything.
Or do what Shawshank Redemption did.
I can't remember how he got out.
He digged through the wall for say several years or more than that.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
Yeah. I just can't remember. I haven't seen it for years.
So moving on.
Yes.
He gives them a false name that turns out to be another cryptic message saying "fool's gold" in English.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. And Clarissa worked this one out, and it really got under the skin of those guys, and it gave the it probably gives the head psychiatrist guy at the time made himself look like a fool in front of the press.
Yeah.
Feeling like an idiot.
Yep.
Anyway, moving right along. So Clarissa finally meets Hannibal for one last time, and she wants answers, but he wants to hear about her story. And of course, one of her professors tells her, "Do not let him dissect your mind.
He'll get into your head."
Yes. So anyway, she tells how her dad, he died, and she had to live with an uncle and an aunt
on a sheep farm.
On a sheep farm, and
hence the songs of the lambs.
And one night, early the next morning, she hears crying, and she goes downstairs and hears in the barn lambs being slaughtered.
And she didn't like that, so she tried to save one of them.
Yeah, she tried to save one.
She was only young at the time, 12 or something.
Yeah, 12 or 13, I think. And because of her behaviour, her aunt and uncle sent her to an orphanage.
Yeah.
And then Hannibal, his psychiatrist, thinks that if she somehow saves this latest victim of Buffalo Bill, then it might stop the lambs in her head from crying.
At night she hears the lamb still crying in her head and stuff. Yeah.
So anyway, he then gives her her case files, and there was a brief he was touching her finger as she's grabbing for it. I think I gotta admit, I do like the chemistry in this movie, even though I know nothing comes of of their relationship, but I did like the fact that he's willing to open up, even if he's very cryptic about it.
Oh yeah, he's very good that way. The guy who wrote the script's pretty clever.
Yes. Eventually, Clarissa works it out in her head why this killer is doing this, and thanks to Lecter, she figures out that this guy had a history of trying to have a sex change. What's his name again? The killer?
Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill.
No, he didn't have. He never. No, he didn't.
He's tried to have a sex change, but everyone's denied him this.
Yeah, because he's not really. He's not really a transvestite or anything else. He's not wide. He just thinks if he becomes a female, that'll solve his problems.
Yes.
So he's really bent in the head.
But seeing as no doctor will perform this operation.
Yeah, because he's crazy.
He decides to do the next worst thing by kidnapping women, and when they he starves them
so the skin
at first,
gets loose.
And then when he then shoots them after say 3 or 4 days.
Well, period of time, yeah.
And then he skins them,
and then he sews them up. He sews the skin together to make
a skin
to go over him.
Yes.
Yeah.
She then discovers the place, and at one
Not
point,
very hygienic, is it?
the rest of the police, they got the wrong address, but
they'll find the wrong lead.
did find the right address.
She was the only one on top of it.
Mm-hmm. She eventually finds him, shoots him, and saves the
latest victim. Yeah.
And meanwhile, while this was happening, Lecter is escaped in the most interestingest way. He kind of traps two of his and kills both his handlers and steals one of their.
He had been moved out of his old cell into a new accommodation inside a building. Outlow was like an open cell in the middle of a small hall or a large room, and had two police officers or security guards there.
And he smuggled in a teeny weeny size, probably pen, probably a pen.
Something off a pen. Or something very, very small, like the middle clip of it.
Yeah, see, in the original mental asylum he was in, no one was allowed to bring in any small bits and pieces or even a knife or anything.
Paper, even paper plates and stuff, because anything could be used as a weapon with this guy.
Oh, yes. So anyway, our hero, he then kills both guards, and he
takes the face off one of them and he puts his clothes on.
Yeah, and then he throws one of the bodies down the elevator shaft.
Well, the one that had his clothes on, yeah.
Yes.
And so it's hidden, and everyone thinks that Hannibal Lecter has disappeared or run away. Yeah, he's escaped, and Hannibal Lecter is actually in the policeman's clothes, lying on the floor with a bloody face. Yeah. And everyone thinks he's been attacked, and he suffered major problems.
And Clarissa believes that Hannibal's not going to come after her at one point, but wait to the end. He calls from on a payphone to inform her that he's not planning on killing her or hunting her down.
And he congratulated her on solving the case. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah, and he says that while he won't be stalking her anytime soon, he expects her not to do the same. But she is now a graduate FBI agent,
she's graduated,
that means that she doesn't have that capacity of doing that.
She might have to sometime in the future be called upon to chase him. Yeah.
Yes, and of course he says that he has to hang up now because he's going to meet up with an old friend for dinner.
And have him for lunch.
Yeah.
And it happens to be his old
psychiatrist
who had him under his control at the original facility.
Yeah, I think deep down, he's on the run from him, even though...
he looks like he's he'd gone to parts unknown trying to escape.
Yeah.
But Hannibal was there first.
Yeah.
Strange that, isn't it? He's a very good psychiatrist.
So, anyway, Hannibal hangs up and Clarissa tries to talk to him on the phone, but, they're disconnected, all that stuff, and you can't really bother to keep talking on the phone with him. Anyway, Hannibal then heads off into... I think it's in Jamaica or something, I'm not sure.
Wait a minute.
I think it's Jamaica.
It looks like, one of those Latin countries, I can't remember now.
I think, I'm not sure. Anyway, he heads off following...
No, it's in Bimini. Where was Bimini?
Bimini.
That's where that...
I know. I know.
I'm not an American. I know Bimini from previous things.
Okay, he's in Bimini. And he follows discreetly behind the professor a few...
Yeah, so you'll have him later.
I remember in a
nice Chianti and stuff
deleted scene, or at least that was not going to be aired in this, where he hangs up the phone and he's in a room, and as he moves into the room, you see the psychiatrist guy bound and gagged, and the old Lecter approaches and says,
the other one's a bit more subtle. He's following down the street. What's going to happen?
It leaves us guessing. It keeps us guessing. Obviously, by the second movie, they figured out that the psychiatrist guy has gone missing.
Well, that was the idea of it.
Yes. So and the institute itself has closed down, I guess, because the guy in charge is no longer working there.
Yep. Well.
So that's the movie, and I'm sorry it was very short, but I didn't want to get too much into the details.
We want you to watch it. Yeah, it's really, really good. I mean, there's a lot of mind games being played there. There's a little bit of FBI chasing the clues sort of stuff, and It's a suspense thriller, psychological thriller come horror. It's a really good movie. Everyone loved it. Now, so I can take over the helm here a little bit now. Now, casting was interesting. Jodie Foster was interested in playing the FBI agent straight away when she first read the novel, and it was she knew it was coming up, and she wanted it, and they didn't want her necessarily.
Yeah,
no. Even though she had an Academy Award for a previous movie recently called The Accused. Now the point is, they tried
slew of actors.
Sure.
Our actors.
Their first choice was going to be Michelle Pfeiffer. Nah. Good actress, but nah. Then they approached Meg Ryan and Laura Dern, and in the end, Jodie Foster got it because she was so keen on the part. See?
Yeah, I can't see Michelle Pfeiffer playing that.
A different sort of personality.
She's pretty. I give you that.
And a good actress, yeah.
And a good actress, but not the right attitude for the role.
Now, here's one for you. The original person they were hoping to get for Hannibal Lecter was Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
And he turned it down.
I can't see him that. Sorry, guys. No. That's how I feel. I just don't think I can see him.
Anthony Hopkins was offered the role based on his performance in The Elephant Man.
Nah.
No. Anthony Hopkins was offered the role of Hannibal Lecter. He got it.
Anthony Hopkins.
Right.
I was thinking of something else. Sorry.
But he said when he got it, is this a children's story? Blah, blah, blah. And he read it. First 10 pages. This is the best done part I've ever read. So he was really inspired by Tally's writing abilities in putting the story to a screenplay.
Yeah, an interesting thing about this is that while preparing for this role, Anthony studied files of serial killers. So he visited prisons and studied convict murderers, and was present during some of the court hearings concerning gruesome murders and serial killings.
Yeah, well, I got some other stuff here.
So it kind of gave him a bit of...
Yeah, well, a lot of them did this. I'll go a bit more here on the casting here. Other actors considered for the role included Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Derek Jacobi, and Daniel Day-Lewis. Interesting. Now, I won't go into that part too much there. Gene Hackman was also cast to play Jack Crawford, the FBI guy, the head boss, who's Starling's boss.
Okay.
And he found the script to be a little bit too violent for his liking. Scott Glenn was cast in the role. In the preparation, he did something like Anthony Hopkins. He went and he saw some film footage, interviews, and other things with the serial killers who did something, and he was crying while he was because these guys actually take what they're doing to the females, and he's listening to it, and he changed his attitude about what do you call it? He didn't believe in executing people or capital punishment. He changed his feelings about capital punishment for these sorts of crimes. So he was really affected by what he saw. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Another thing about The Silence of the Lambs was it was inspired by a real-life relationship between a University Washington criminology professor and a profiler and a serial killer.
Yeah, well.
Named Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy? Yeah. He was a good... Yeah. Even though old Ted Bundy, don't we?
Bundy helped Bob investigate the Green Rivers serial killings.
Yeah.
And let me see, it was finally solved in 2001 when Gary Ridgway was arrested on November the 5th, 2003 in a Seattle courtroom. So Ridgway pledged guilty to 48 counts of aggressive first-degree murder. So this was really taken from life almost.
Well, yeah.
I also thought that I've been hearing that it was taken from Ed Gein story where he was stealing, killing women and slicing and dicing them.
Yeah, but he wasn't dressing up. He wasn't doing weird stuff.
Nothing like that.
Nah, so no, nothing like Ed Gein.
It's just that I heard it, and a lot of people, whenever they mention Ed Gein, they keep referring it back to the Silence of the Lambs or Chainsaw Massacre or Psycho.
Yeah, see, Ed Gein's close to Chainsaw Massacre.
I think it's more. I think it's the fact that it deals with cannibalism and cutting and dicing people.
But yeah, see, Ed Gein didn't eat them. He just cut them up and made lampshades and stuff and different things and weird crap and he just killed them and cut them up in little pieces and whatever and did things with their bodies. But he didn't actually do anything, so he wasn't strange like this Buffalo Bill guy. I'm going to skin them and make a lady suit.
Yeah, so anyway, that was pretty much where the inspiration came from for that story. Like I admit, it's kind of clever, and I do wonder to myself the Ted Bundy. Do you think he got when
they made a movie about Ted Bundy.
Did he ever get a lighter sentence after assisting in abetting the professor and the profiler?
No, I shouldn't think so.
I would have thought maybe.
I shouldn't think so. It's really nice for a book and a movie, but I don't think so.
Well, it just makes me think of another real person from Catch Me If You Can, the guy who did some forgery, forged checks, and then thanks to his services, he assisted FBI for a bit.
They said we can put you in jail, or we can offer you a job to work for us. So, because you're so smart at this sort of stuff, you'll be able to be a good investigator for us.
Yeah, so he helped them, and that kind of lightened the sentence a bit.
Well, no, I think they actually suspend the sentence and then put him on the payroll.
True.
But I think he's on a very short leash to make sure he wouldn't get up to any mischief. Yeah.
True. Anyway, Anthony did appear in 2 more Silence of the Lambs movies I told you guys about, Hannibal and Red Dragon.
Yeah.
Which was, Red Dragon was more of a sequel more than a...
prequel.
Prequel, sorry.
Yeah. Because Hannibal and Hannibal Rising wasn't the other ones? Or
the Hannibal Rising is more with a younger man, I think. And
in his younger days.
Yeah, younger days, which was more of another prequel, where it deals with how he became a cannibal in the first place.
Yeah.
And let me see.
I don't think I've seen that one. Or I did it a long time ago, maybe. I must have a look at that. Yeah.
Anyway, it was not too long ago. So in year 2013, they released a prequel TV series called Hannibal, which deals with a different actor, obviously.
Yeah.
But other than that, the rest of the storyline is sort of the same. We're dealing with a guy named Will Graham, or
whatever.
Who was sort of the policeman who was hunting down Hannibal's, finding the killer and all that stuff. And he does find it out, and he gets into a lot of scuffles with him. And I won't go into details on the TV show because it's way too interesting and I don't want to go explore it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yet.
Well, okay. Now a bit about the filming side of it. The filming. Principal photography of the Silence of the Lambs began in November 89 and was wrapped in March 90. It was a few months. Primarily took place around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and some scenes shot in nearby West Virginia. Now, the Victorian home used for Buffalo Bill's home, that was his ordinary house, obviously. But the downstairs part, the basement was designed, the basement and the pit designed by the Buffalo Bill, used by Buffalo Bill, was inspired by the real life kidnappings and murders of Gary M. Heinrich. Ooh. So there's a house obviously set up like that. And he was kidnapping and killing people, and bugger. So when touch of reality comes in handy, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it definitely does.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much more because, I mean, otherwise I get into telling the story and that sort of defeats the purpose of doing it. I want you to go and watch it.
Some of Lecter's dialogue here in the movie where he says cryptic stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
And I liked it when he said in a snarky voice to the senator at the end of their interview, he says, "Oh, Senator, love the suit." Yeah, sarcastic, nasty way.
I'm better than you. I don't give a shit.
That's type of attitude.
Actually, here's something. Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins' performances garnered widespread critical acclaim and won them the Academy Awards for Best Actress and Best Actor, respectively.
Sweet.
So, and actually, a funny thing, Anthony Hopkins was worried about playing a role with Jodie Foster because he thought she was a better actor than he was because he had a lot of respect for Jodie Foster's acting ability.
I see.
And he thought he didn't think he was good enough.
But who would have thought that he kind of sold the show?
There's something about Anthony Hopkins. He's one of those guys that gets into a role and becomes a role. He became Hannibal Lecter. When he's in the Bram Stoker's Dracula, he became Van Helsing. Weird Van Helsing, but he became Van Helsing.
Yeah.
He puts himself into a role.
I'm amazed by his acting. And I think I read somewhere that he had his own set of his own set of problems. He doesn't like being in crowds because it makes him feel insecure.
Yeah, but he does it. But I don't know if that's real or not.
Well, we looked it up one time.
But some of depending on how reliable the sites are. Okay.
Yeah.
But that could be true. I mean, I don't like crowds either. I wouldn't say I feel insecure, but I feel sort of hemmed in. I like open spaces a bit more. So
Same.
He might be similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he has his own problems with that. Anyway, I do think he's got some great talent there.
He's done a lot of. I can't remember all of them at the moment, but whenever I've seen him in a movie, I've always found his interpretation of the role different. And I don't mean different in a weird way. I mean, everyone said, "Oh, I'm going to play a doctor. I'm going to play it the same way everybody else plays a doctor. Or I'm going to play an axe murderer. I'm going to play it the same way." No, he put something else into it.
Yeah. I mean, when they did I watched a bit of the Manhunter, and there's no comparison between them. Anthony plays the Lecter a lot more better than than that guy.
I don't know if he just interprets the roles better. I don't know, but
I like to think he. Actually, I read somewhere he got the idea of the behavior for Lecter from a colleague of his.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he kind of. Well, I imagine he was not an actor, but he decided to use that as his model for Lecter.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said before too, the critics loved it. I went Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, all the other ones. About one person didn't like it out of all the.
Why don't you tell us what he's got to say? I wouldn't mind hearing this.
Where is it?
Even though I do hate bad reviews, but I just think they're interesting.
I'm just trying to wait for it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, yeah. However, the film is also notable for being one of 2 multi-Academy Award winners, blah, 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 to get a bad review from Egbert. Now, Egbert is from Chicago Sun-Times. His colleague, Gene Siskel, who writes...
For them.
He said, Siskel said, Foster's character, who is appealing, is dwarfed by the monsters she is after. I'd rather see her work on another case.
Rude.
Come on. Yeah, some of these reviewers are dickheads. I'm sorry, honestly.
Beggars can't be choosers, folks.
But she was the best one for the role. Nobody else wanted it because it was a hard role to play.
Yeah.
Or too gruesome or whatever. She gave it her best shot. And look, whether you like an actor or actress in a role... Now, Jodie Foster's not a bad actor, but be politically correct, an actor. I don't mind. I don't like every role I see her in. I don't like every role I see other actors in either.
Yeah.
But I think she did a very good
if this
role
was done by
interpretation.
Michelle Pfeiffer,
I don't think it'll work.
It wouldn't have. She would have just come off as too
I don't know.
fancy in my mind.
She's too different. I mean, it needed somebody like Jodie Foster.
Yeah. I know I've seen her in Batman Returns, and I've seen her in a lot of other movies, but I just don't think she's right for this role. Michelle Pfeiffer,
Yeah, I don't think she could have handled the she probably could have, but from our perspective, yeah, maybe not. I think Jodie Foster was the right choice for the movie, as was
she pulled it off
Anthony
with the accent,
well, that's like southern, or country, whatever.
South Carolina type accent, I think it was.
Yeah, something, but she left there when she was younger. There was a few problems with the gay and lesbian community. They thought, they didn't like the fact that the females were being beaten and killed and skinned. It was terrible.
Sorry, guys, but
that's a movie.
I'm not going to be nasty to the gays and lesbians out there, but it's part of the movie, and if it's removed, it will not be a good movie.
And they made some comment about him. Oh, the guy doing it was gay or a cross-dresser. He wasn't. He wasn't gay or a cross-dresser. He was a guy who was really weird. And just wanted to become a female to solve his problems, sort of things. Yeah.
I often think that Hannibal Lecter knew Buffalo Bill. Like, he may have been a patient of his, but was not willing to share with the FBI or anyone. That's why he's probably seemed to be very well known or knowledgeable about it. But then again, he said he read the newspapers and he probably worked it out in his head why Buffalo Bill does it.
Well, Buffalo Bill, he's a weird man. I'm not going to say too much because obviously if you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, the role of that person in it is really weird. I have never seen someone as creepy as that.
Yeah. If
He's
this was
just weird and strange and
and I'm not going to be nasty again to the lesbians and gays out there, but remove that equation from the story would just make the story less
lame.
lame.
You need something solid, something to get you sitting on the end of your seat, something to say, ooh, what's that over my shoulder?
And give the motive behind why he's doing this.
And creep you out at the same time. And it creeps you out.
But then again, back then, people wanted to hide that fact that this stuff may or may not happen in real life, but they just don't want to show it.
Well, that's not
show and tell. That's what I'm trying to say.
People say, oh, this doesn't happen in real life. Well, excuse me, how many people yearly go missing?
True.
And I don't mean just in America or Australia or worldwide. And you can't say aliens did it.
Yeah, and not to mention there are people out there who have interesting, but some people have a different way of life. But outside the world, it's a little hard to accept because people are either think it's too weird or hard to take in.
Yeah,
that's what life is, guys, folks.
Yeah. There's bad shit like this probably does happen one way or another. Bundy was a killer. There's other serial killers. We've had people over here. In Australia. It's had problems in England. And it's obviously had problems in Europe as well. So there are nasty creeps out there. Yeah,
there are nasty people out there. So anyway, do you want to rate this movie now? Because I don't
Well, before I go,
much to say.
if any of you have not seen it, go to your local shop, rent a copy, or you can go to Amazon. You can rent and buy off Amazon, or you can buy one off eBay. So it's probably available on other sites as well.
Oh, can we look at the good reviews of the movie? I would like to hear those.
You would. There's too many, and it goes on and on.
We'll just look at the really good ones. Hang on.
Let's flick back my paperwork here. Let's get a bit. Still getting over my cold a bit. Still getting over my cold a bit. You get a bit of sniffle.
Right.
All right. Rotten Tomatoes. 90%.
No surprise.
Everyone said it was great, pretty much. Smart, taut thriller. teeters on the edge between psychological study and an all-out horror, and benefits greatly from stellar performances by Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster.
Cool.
So much that Ebert guy, whatever. Metacritic, another review aggregator, assigned the film a weighted average score of 85 out of 100, indicating universal acclaim. CinemaScope gave it an average grade of A- on an A+ to an F scale, so it was pretty much up the top of their scale. That Robert Egbert from Chicago Sun-Times mentioned the terrifying qualities of Hannibal Lecter, and he later added the film to his list of the great movies, recognising the film as a horror masterpiece. But his friend, the other guy there, says crap. Recognised the film as a great masterpiece alongside such classics as Nosferatu, Psycho, and Halloween. Yeah.
I'm glad there are some people with a little bit of a brain on their shoulders.
So yeah, but Ebbert's colleague, this Gene Siskel, writing for the Chicago Tribune, didn't like it. Maybe liked it, but didn't like Jodie Foster playing the role. He's the only one. Yeah.
What about everything else in the movie, for goodness sakes?
I know. Yeah, it's a lot of crap. Anyway, don't worry about it. Anyway, I'm going to give this 10.
I'm going to give it 10
out of 10.
I'm going to give this movie 10.5 out of 10.
See, that's really good. You can't count, but that's okay.
Yeah, but you got to admit that it is an interesting movie.
It's a really good watch. I mean, it's not creepy like a horror movie. It's creepy like a suspense thriller.
Yeah.
And you go, "Ew, this could really happen." You go, and that is the creepy part about it. Not like, "Oh, we've got a ghoulie over there in the corner." This is a real guy doing real things to real people, and that's the creepy part. And yeah, I like it. That's something taken out of a story taken out of life. To me, is scarier than something made up. Yeah, I can watch Frankenstein movies and Godzilla movies and everything else, and slasher movies, and yeah, okay, and all fun, and everyone's running around in decreasing circles, but when you take something out of life and it could be not that far removed from reality, it's a little bit unnerving sometimes, and that is a good, scary thrill bit in a good movie.
Yes.
Whether it's a horror or just a suspense thriller or whatever, and that is the part I like in these little movies.
Yes, so this is about it for us tonight, and I don't want to repeat myself, so be sure to check this out. Check out our other reviews in the past.
We've done over 100 now, haven't we? 100 and something. Yeah. We've been doing it since January last year. Yeah, so
yes, it's been as I said before in the past. We didn't just do this just to get over the COVID or our boredom or anything like that. We did it because to reach out and to tell people our point of view about the movies.
Yeah, why not? Encourage people like you to go and watch a movie that we like, and you may have seen it, you may not have seen it. But if you haven't seen it, and so we had a friend of mine who's passed away a couple of years ago. He said he never watched franchise movies. And I said, why? He didn't have an answer. Oh, he did get in with James Bond's a franchise, and I like just about every James Bond I've ever seen. Star Wars, most of those movies have been great. Star Trek movies aren't too bad. Alien movies have been pretty good. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, blah blah. I mean, there's good movies out there in the franchise.
You just need to pick out the ones that you think appeal to you.
Yeah, and sometimes you might be a little bit disappointed because that one's not real good, but the one before it was good and the one after it was good, so just deal with it. Yeah. Anyway, irrespective.
Yeah,
I'm getting back to irrespective again.
Speaking of franchise, I read somewhere that George Lucas might be thinking of trying to get the rights to his creativity on the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, but he wants to buy it back off Disney, because I don't think Disney's versions are working out as good as George. And I'm not knocking Disney Studios. Please don't get me wrong.
I'm knocking the producer, who's
I don't think the producer. I think it's a case that George knows what it should be in his head, and you're getting a script writer who doesn't know,
Yeah.
and the director is trying to interpret what the writer is trying to convey, and it's just not coming out like a George Lucas job.
No, I often think that I like to think that even the old characters, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, they're doing things I don't think I would have imagined they would ever do. I don't think Luke would run away, from his problems.
Oh, he didn't. Yeah.
And I don't think Luke would be lazy after so many years of having the books, those Jedi books there, just not bothered to read them properly. I don't think he's that stupid. I never saw him as a stupid person.
No.
I always thought of him as a bright person.
Yeah, but the point is, if no one read the books because it could have been written in an old language and no one knew how to read.
Oh.
If I
and I didn't like the way he says, it just was, I read bits and pieces. Doesn't sound
No,
just
I don't
like
think he said that. I think
that's what he said
he
in the
wanted to
movie.
protect the books. They are the heritage of the Jedis. Yeah. But have you ever read them? No. And so he said...
There's bits of it.
Yeah,
I
so
just don't
no
buy
one read
that.
them because I reckon it was an old Latin, ancient Latin. No one speaks Latin now. It's Latin. Maybe some doctors still do. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I just don't think that Luke is that dumb.
No, he didn't know the language, possibly. Okay.
I just think that I just thought the dialogue was just sloppy.
Well, it could have been. Anyway, irrespective.
I know they were trying. I know they
irrespective
tried
again.
to.
Oh, Lord.
I know they're trying to make him more human in this, and Star Wars is not about making people human. They're supposed to be.
They're aliens.
They're supposed to be.
That's right, love.
It's supposed to be a fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah, whatever.
Know?
Well, you can't be a lazy alien or person.
No.
Anyway,
Sorry guys, I'm drifting ahead again.
Let us close off before we bore
I'll
these
close
people.
this up so you're not getting bored with me. So this is Sarah Stephenson
And Michael.
saying we'll see you guys for the next movie review we do.
Yay.
Bye for
Can't
now.
wait. Bye.